Hi everyone, it's Adam Cockburn here at Lowe & Co Realty. Thanks for checking in. Today we are looking at the Wellington region real estate market for the month of November 2020 compared to November 2019. And in summary, the market is still super hot. It is red hot, and in fact, the sales volumes, the number of properties being sold nationwide is the highest number in a month in 13 years. It's not the case quite in Wellington. Wellington had a very strong result in terms of number of sales in November, but across the whole country, it's the strongest month we've ever seen for 13 whole years. So let's get started. Let's start with the median sale price. November 2020 median sale price $790,000 compared to $690,000 in November 2019. That's an increase of 15%. And interestingly, if you look at the last 6 months' results, we took a hit downwards in the median sale price after the COVID lockdown. But the last 7 months have shown a consistent increase every month of the median sales price. So it's not a fluke, it is distinctly a trend. 7 months of consistent price increases in Wellington, and most recently up 15% from November to November. On the supply side of things, how many new listings are we seeing monthly? In November 2020, 903 listings compared to 828 in November 2019. That's quite a big increase. So contrary to what everyone is saying, which is there's no properties to buy, we're actually seeing an increase in the number of new listings coming to the market, an increase of 9%. And again, if you look at the results over the last 6 months or so, you'll see a definite increase there. Now, this is normal. In springtime, we see more properties come to the market, and this year in particular, we saw the spring rush was very late. So the increases in the number of new listings each month was only very gradual as we came out of wintertime, and it wasn't until November where we saw this huge uptick in the number of listings coming to the market. But this is the, we had saw a drop off in the 6 monthly moving average, as you can see on the red line there. And with the big strong November result, we're seeing for the first time again that 6 month moving average move back up to what was pre-COVID norms in the sort of 6 or so months before COVID lockdown. So back up to pre-COVID norms, nothing on the short side of supply compared to what's normal over the last 6 months. So a big month in November for new listings in Wellington. In terms of how many sales are being made each month, in November 2020, 859 versus 808. So again, that's an increase in the number of sales that we saw a year ago. And once again, if you look at the last 6 months' results, we have seen 6 months of strong sales volumes. And the red line showing the 6 month moving average coming back up again and hitting on an average of almost 800 per month for the first time actually in about 5 years. So we're seeing the most sales in the last 6 months than we've seen for about 5 years in Wellington as we've come out of lockdown, and this is in spite of the fact that there are very few properties on the market. So when you get not many properties on the market and the strongest sales results for 5 years over a 6 month period, naturally what happens? Obviously, the number on the market goes even lower. So that's bad news. So as I said before, we saw in November the largest number of sales nationwide in November for any month for 13 entire years. So that's indeed a big result. How long is it taking to sell property in Wellington? In a couple of words, not long. So 28 days in November 2020 compared to 29 days in November 2019. It has been generally a short duration to sell for quite some time, but it has been quite some time since we have seen 28 days, 29 days consistently, and for the last 5 months we have seen 29 days or less. So we have to go back again to sort of 2016 market to see similar sorts of levels. So again, just another sign that the market remains very, very hot indeed. How much inventory we got in the market? November 2020, 6 weeks worth of supply versus 7 weeks in November 2019. 7 weeks is short supply, 6 weeks is even less. And again, very interestingly, look at the last 4 months. We've had 4 months of 6 weeks worth of supply on the market. You have to go back 5 years before we have seen such consistently low levels of inventory on the market. Again, this is not what buyers want to hear. Consistently short supply and high levels of transactions, high levels of sales being made, this all adds up to increasingly increasing prices. Increasingly increasing, how about that? How many are we seeing on Trade Me? So not surprisingly, December 2020, 1,035 versus December 2019, 1,097. As I said before, this is because even though we've seen a slight increase in the number of new listings coming to the market in November, the number of sales is outstripping it generally over the last 6 months, 12 months or so. And so the gross number of listings on Trade Me is continuing to fall. And again, if you look at the last 6 years there, you can see that red line is showing that on average, we're hitting something like 1,200 listings on Trade Me over the last 6 months on average. It has not been that low in living memory as far as I can tell. And certainly in the last 6 years since I've been collecting this data, it is the lowest it has been by some stretch. So yeah, remarkably tight market out there. The market is going from tight to even tighter. So in summary, this is not good news for buyers. This is great news for those of us, those people who already own property. Price growth remains very, very strong. New listing volumes were up in November and sales volumes were up too. Duration and the duration to sell is low and fairly stable. Stock and inventory levels are unbelievably low. The market remains extremely competitive. It is difficult work for buyers. It is great for sellers. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the new year. I hope you all have a great Christmas. If you need anything, please shout out. It's Adam Cockburn here at Lowe & Co. Otherwise, see you in 2021.